Welcome back to Inside City Hall. I'm joined once again by the chair and CEO of the New York City Housing Authority, Gregory Russ. You've been here for a few weeks now. What are your impressions of the new agency that you run?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out. I've just had just the warmest welcome from residents and staff, and almost everyone I've had a chance to engage with, and have really appreciated that. And secondly, I've gotten a chance now to get out to the properties and to see a variety of sites. I think I'm up to about 10 or 11, and talk to folks in their units, see their units, and look at the conditions of the stock. I'm also beginning to get into the departments, understand each of the department areas and their functions. And my initial impression is New York City built public housing before there even was public housing. So we have some of the oldest stock in the country. And these buildings, in fact, we're all at the effect of this inability to capitalize these properties. The residents are unhappy because it affects their daily life in severe and difficult ways. The staff is stretched because the older buildings demand more. And the community looks around and does not see the asset truly as the asset it is, because it is in such bad shape. And whatever we come up with, we have really three main ingredients based on the short time I've been here. Getting to a place where the monitor and us in partnership have a solid set of plans around compliance and are doing those things. Stabilizing the housing for an interim period, and then third, raising sufficient capital to do deeper preservation on the back end. So we're suffering from the results of this lack of capital.
Who takes the lead on that last part of it, the raising of capital?
The raising of capital will be part of the reason I was asked to come here. So we're also collaborating with the city very closely. They have a lot of strong folks and do a lot of financing. And we'll have to talk to the partners in the agreement about that as well, because we need to think about, even if we're doing really solid preservation deals on the back end, they take time. So what happens to the stock between today and we make the compliance efforts and the time that they might have to be fully or deeply rehabilitated?
Yeah, I mean, the main tool in your toolkit that you are a specialist in is bringing in private management to
well, actually, in Cambridge, we didn't use private management, and we didn't use it in Minneapolis.
Okay, so the RAD program in New York is different from the one that you ran in Cambridge?
Yeah, it is different in that respect. It's still very workable. It's still a very good model, but in the other jobs I had, we used a public model because we could make the numbers work.
So as of right now, my understanding is a little over 8,300 units have been sort of slated for RAD. Are there more that are going to? Yeah,
there's a goal of over 60,000.
And is this? I mean, if it's not going to be run the way that you've done it in other cities,
sure.
How do you sort of test and assess the capacity of the managers that you will be bringing in to run the units?
Well, I think that's part of it's a combination of what is that management/ownership group bringing to the table in terms of capital, and what's their skill set in managing property in this environment. And both of those are checked and looked at as part of the selection process.
As far as you're concerned, is this a step away from the original vision of public housing?
Well, I think, interestingly, when you look at the original vision for public housing, it envisioned, it was a very different model. Public housing never, for example, included any funding for capital reserves from the very beginning. It was kind of envisioned as we'll be able to take care of these buildings as we go along. Later HUD programs changed that model significantly, and consequently, some of the other programs do have capital reserves. So I think the test for us will be, first, recapitalize the portfolio, and by that I mean all 174,000 units, And then if we can recapitalize them to a point where they're stable or preserved, we can keep a strong public hand in that, whatever that successor buildings look like. Mm-hmm. And that's very important because public housing offers guarantees and provides rights to residents. We want to maintain those. They have options for organization that they've earned through that program that we would not take them away either. So basically what we want to do is